Hey guys, welcome to another East Coast Rams podcast. I am your co-host Ashton here with my awesome co-host Zach. We got to win, Zach. It is a miracle. It is crazy. We actually have offensive production. Pretty good game for most part. How are you feeling after that?
Hey, I'm still on a high. I'm glad that the game was at 1 o'clock because
Mm,
I feel like I get to enjoy this for a lot longer here on the East Coast side than it being over at like 7:30 and trying to settle down and get ready for the evening and stuff like that. So been a great high all day long.
yep.
How are you doing?
So doing good. Feeling great. Puka and Cup were balling out. I picked in
Balling.
every fantasy team I have, so pretty happy with his performance and that catch. Oh my gosh, we'll talk about that. But before we get into all the good stuff, guys, please, if you're watching us on YouTube, like and subscribe. It definitely helps us out, get the pod out there. While we're doing this live, feel free to type in chat your comments, questions, stuff like that. Be part of the conversation. We definitely love interacting with you guys through that all. And you can find us on all your favorite podcasting apps. Zach, some news before we go over the game. The 49ers blew lead. Show me your shock face, I know. Uh, they blew lead. The Seahawks came back to win that game, and now the Rams are second in division. What's your reaction to that kind of big division news there?
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I mean, obviously we don't also want to root for the Seahawks, but we root for the the second evilest team, I guess, in our division. So I will take the Seahawks beating the 49ers, which pushes them down, which pushes us up. So now we are second in the NFC West, and I believe we
Eighth,
are eighth in the NFC in total. So obviously that's good momentum that we wanna keep up with.
yeah. No, definitely want to keep that up. Other news. Puka Nakua didn't get hurt after he went in. There were some concerns because he looked a little ginger after that hit in the second
Yeah,
quarter.
it almost looked like an elbow. It all just by his ginger way of like getting up, uh, but yeah, stomach thing, right? He just kind of threw up a little bit and got the wind nicked out of him. Is what I saw.
Yeah, and do you want to go ahead and go over the general game itself, or do you want to talk about Cardi and get to that near the end?
No, let's hold on Cardi because again, I don't want to down this great high that we have. So we'll scatter a little bit of doom and gloom throughout the pod, but let's start off with the game in general. I was super impressed by the offense. They really took charge, and then this was the offense that we knew this team was capable of, in which they should have been all year. Obviously, losing Cup and losing Puka, they really kind of it was a detriment
Mhm.
to us, um, but this offense just after the first quarter, uh, this offense really just started to click. So again, over my general overview of the game was this offense was really just firing on all cylinders after the first quarter, and there were sparks in that first quarter. I mean, their first two drives, they had big plays. They just couldn't capitalize on those. After the big play, they would go three and out.
Yeah.
Um, so I guess you want to start diving into this game. We'll start with the first quarter. We kind of
Mm.
mentioned the Rams won the toss, so they deferred, which I know. I think me and you had the conversation of you think that they should start their offense out and just start getting that drive going faster. So you wish they wouldn't have deferred. Is that correct?
Yeah, just in unless it changes, this team is so slow in the first quarter. I feel like when we get a lead, this D line can tee off so much more easily. And you could see, like, Really, the fourth quarter, the Patriots were cooked. The only successful drive they had was assisted with a lot of, let's say, questionable flags. One or two legitimate ones in there, but like three really touchy, like flags there. But outside of that, they didn't really do anything. And when we had the lead, and Byron Young and Jared Verse and like Fisk and all these guys can tee off. May was really struggling with that. Which sidebar, real quickly, guys, May is going to be a really good quarterback. He is working with not a lot over there in New England, and he gave us fits for the most part. When that Patriots team should have like really destroyed, to be honest.
Yeah. So what I'll say about that is I think the Rams defense, as good as they are, they seem to just, and we've talked about this before, they seem to play with the other team. So even though our defense seems to always just be better, they always just end up playing with them. And so these games are closer than they should be because of, some silly mistakes. And so going into the first quarter, we have the first drive, 6 plays, and the Patriots had to punt. But really, what happened? What really led to this was a penalty by the by New England, which pushed them back 15 yards. Um, so that was unfortunate, but that did allow the Rams to get the ball starting off their first drive. First drive looked really good because after a nice 4 yard play, Matthew Stafford made a beautiful pass to Puka Nakua, who then just rampaged down for 37 yards. And then after that, they went flat. So how do you take their first drive?
Really, with their first drive, I think you're seeing a lot of teams focus on carrying the box or loading the box against us and basically saying we're not going to let Kyron Williams run and we dare you to throw it over the middle of the field. And the Rams, especially with their O line battered, or let's say kind of musical chairs, has struggled to defend like long developing plays most of the year. So you could tell the Patriots were kind of focusing on stopping Kyron. And when we were trying to go a little bit more run heavy, it just wasn't working because they were able to kind of cheat up with their safeties and just congest that box a lot. And it
Yeah,
opened up more in the third quarter when we started throwing it a little bit deeper.
yeah. The one I think that first drive really just failed on that third down. Try the third down attempt to Cup. Stafford knew that he misread that and threw it a little bit too far for Cup. If not, that drive would have continued pretty
Hmm.
easily. So, um,
Yeah.
but the Rams were forced to punt. The Patriots get the ball back, 7 plays down, they score a touchdown. Things just seem to really break down um, for the defense in this turn. Um, just them being able to pick up, the 14 yards, and then the 28 yards and the 19 yards. It just really just broke down, and
That's still a
again,
scripted drive at that
it
point in the
is
game. So, like,
what the
we
first
really
20,
struggle. Yeah, we
like the
really
first 20.
struggle with scripted drives. Uh, I think I said this last week. I would be interested to see our stats against like the first 20 plays of every team. I don't think it's pretty because it's most of our first quarter stats, anyways, and it is only getting worse every week.
Yeah, I mean the Rams. They only had one 3-and-out this whole game, and it came into the last quarter. Um, but in general, the next play they went in four. They had Puka or they had a Kyron Williams gorgeous 18 yards run. Then he got a 4, then he got a 2, and then they couldn't get the short pass to Puka Nakua. So again, they were
Yeah.
forced to punt the ball again. Um, Defense holds again for a punt. And then the Rams, this is really when the Rams started to go on their offensive attack. 9 plays, 80 yards. Um, Again, mostly because of Nakua. He had a great 25 yards. Kyron was in on this, or not Kyron, Corum was in on this one. So he was able to, do a little bit with some sevens, some fives, 10 yards even. So he kind of ran this one. Um, and then we just had the beautiful touchdown to Cooper Cup. Um, Again, just a this is again what the Rams should have been this whole time. How do you feel about the first touchdown? Really the first red zone touchdown we've had in a while. And
Yeah.
this is where the Rams have
Uh,
struggled, especially passing. We've had quite a bit of runs, but passing has been the problem.
yeah. You could tell this team was practicing all week in the red zone. Like, their execution was a lot better. A lot has to do with the right tackle in the center. Like, Bo Limmer isn't perfect. He makes some mistakes. He's definitely not. I wouldn't categorize him as a great center, but he's good, and he's been playing good. And
Mhm.
outside of maybe a snap or two that might have been a little bit high and one bad penalty, he had a good game, and I think a lot of that was good protection this game.
Yeah, we didn't even really talk about that. The Rams went back to their center from a couple weeks ago, Bo Limmer, instead of using Jonah Jackson, who they paid a lot of money this offseason. I know not necessarily for the center spot, but going into the season, he was declared the center. Um, so they basically benched a starter to play Bo Limmer, and the offensive line held really well today. 0 sacks on Stafford, really gave him the time, other than a couple plays to that really kind of caused some issues. But other than that, I thought the offensive line did really well today.
We have a $50 million bench in our O line room.
Yeah, I mean it is what it is. I think that they will find ways to get Jonah Jackson back into it. He's going to be a good depth piece. Obviously, if something happens to Steve Avila, that would be where Jonah Jackson would go. Um, so they really thought this, Steve Avila was going to move to the center, and then they were going to have Jonah Jackson at um, that guard spot, but um, obviously did not happen that way. So, but they're looking for continuity. Limmer had the better continuity apparently, so that's where we're at. Um, but after that first touchdown, the Rams, defense, they started to fire back, and after 3 plays,
Mhm.
they were able to force that fumble. So he was sacked by Fisk, fumbles the ball by Fisk, and it was recovered by Kobe Turner to really just give the Rams, Matthew Stafford and Puka Nakua the ability just to make a play right off the gun, and was able to do it. Um, and then that was the pass that you were referring to, where he kind of he flew to catch that, and then looked a little banged up at that point.
Mhm. Fantastic throw and catch. Fantastic. Can't do that much better.
No, you can't. He definitely helped my fantasy quite a bit. I think Puka or Cup actually gave me 4 more points just because he had that second touchdown. But both players did really well.
Mhm.
Then the Rams, the Patriots got the ball back. They drive down the field for 57 yards. We're only able to get a field goal out of that, so the game was 14-10. Rams get the ball back. Um, really with plenty of time, 100 with a minute and 52 seconds left. And the Rams literally were just chunking plays. I mean, you had Kyrie Williams going for 7 yards, then a short pass to Puka for 10 yards. Able to eat up the clock, but able to make plays. They get it all the way down. Um, they even had a fourth down in there that they actually, shockingly, um, didn't it, that was the one where did he run it in, or was that maybe I'm thinking of a different one? But Drive the ball basically down. We get to the 26 to what was it? The 8-yard line. Couldn't get it in
Mhm.
there. And this is where the Cardi party finally ended and missed. Our kicker missed
26
a
yards.
26.
Yeah.
Yeah, not looking good.
That
And
is
and to be honest, his two first extra points did not look good. One of them, I think, doinked in, and then the other one looked like it also could have been far. What was it? Far left. Both of them are left, and then this one, I think he tried to overcorrect it and went far right
it is the shortest missed field goal in the NFL
for this season.
for the season.
Yep. I mean, it is what it is.
I'm not gonna say his name. We'll just keep on going.
I mean, it's definitely heartbreaking. I mean, you draft a player and you hope that he's going to be, you know, he's going to be the key. I think the Rams are going to keep on to him. I mean, he's a rookie. I think he can only get better. You know, Greg Zerloin, his first season with the Rams was not all rosy. I don't know if he missed a 26-yarder, but you know, he also did not have the best rookie year. So let's give this guy a little bit of grace and see what he can do. I know McVay seemed very frustrated. You know, if you
Mm-hmm.
watch the presser afterwards, he did not call him out, but you could tell that he was definitely not pleased with
Well, that affected our choice
the
to punt
situation.
instead of kicking a 52-yarder.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. It did. You know, at that point, if you had a more reliable kicker, obviously they would have taken the kick. I also thought it wasn't a bad play, just in case. You never know. Even the best kickers can miss the ones that are plus 50. You're pinning them back. You're up 8 points. You know, your defense has been playing pretty well. You're going to hope for the best. So it was definitely a risky situation, but it definitely paid out for them.
I just think going on, like, for most teams, they should look towards the XFL, like some of these guys who start getting more and more like professional snaps under their wings, and you just see these superstar XFL kickers like producing in the NFL, and I feel like it's a more like it's an easier way to kind of get a feel for these guys like mental like mindsets and stuff, because some of these rookie kickers take a year or two to pan out, and even then like half of them aren't panning out at all, and you're just wasting time when you can take someone who has some of that more veteran experience and just plug them in, and now we've seen that with two XFL kickers back to back. So but hopefully he gets better. uh,
While we're at halftime of the game, if you guys are watching us live, please make sure you're putting in comments. We'll read them across and kind
mhm.
of make this a good dialogue. But the Rams, they came at us. They didn't get the points they wanted at the end, and they had to come out. They got the ball back, and you know,
Mm.
I think I saw on social media, so one of the people posted, they were like, Rams need to come out with fire under their feet after this half. And I don't think you could have done it any better with the two plays to give a Cooper Cup a 69-yard touchdown. Um, why don't you tell us your thoughts about this play?
Nine and dime. I mean, classic connection. They did a zero blitz, um, which I would say historically under McVay has kind of given us some issues, especially with Goff. A little bit less with Stafford. He just read it perfectly. Cup made a
I mean,
play, got separation. It just easy.
this is why you want Stafford on your team. This is why you want him as your QB.
Yeah.
He can read the situation. He knows what he needs to do. You have Cup on your team. This is also why you have Cup on your team. He knows the situation. He knows what to do. This was like you said, 9 and dime. This was just beautiful. Beautiful. It was a beautiful pass, a beautiful catch, way to avoid the defender and be able to run it with open space. People should know by now, you do not give Cooper Kupp open space. And he was able to do it and got the touchdown. So, um, again, for all the people who are hating the play calls, who are hating on Stafford, which again, you could be critical of Stafford when he makes mistakes. But he is a good quarterback, and I don't want any other quarterback but Stafford.
He hasn't been perfect this year, but he hasn't been bad, and a lot of our issues has been around, I would say, the O-line and just getting the wide receivers back and putting it all together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's been that offensive line. We saw what happens when you give Stafford an extra second or two in the pocket. He
Oh yeah.
makes the good throws. He had, I think, 2 throws that were not on target. And I think one of them, I really do think that hold, that the one where they picked up the flag on the hold on Cooper
Oh
Kupp,
yeah.
that
Yeah.
that looked like a hold to me. So
It is.
outside of that
It
one,
was.
and then the first one, which Stafford, you saw on the thing that he said it was his bad. Um, I do think that caused, those were the only 2 real bad parts of the day for him. Um, but the Rams, they were taking a 21-10 lead. Uh, the Patriots came back. They had to settle for a field goal. Rams come back, another 7-play touchdown um, to Kobe Parkinson, who has kind of been silent for most of this season. This was his first touchdown as a LA Ram. Um, it was another beautiful pass by
Mm-hmm.
Matthew Stafford. Got any thoughts about
Yeah.
that one?
That was all the play design. You could tell the Patriots expected him to block, and that's what he's been mostly doing, especially in the last 2-3 games. They just called his number and said, "We'll fake him out and make catch," and Stafford made a great throw. That was all McVay
Yep.
right there.
Yep. So after the touchdown, we have a very comfortable 15-point lead with, I think, about 5 minutes. With about, that was going into the fourth. Then the touchdown happens with the Patriots, making it a
Hmm.
with they. Sorry, I am going off this. So they go down for a touchdown. Um, they get a block extra point kick. Um,
Hmm.
and yeah, the Rams were able to pick that off, and so they only made it was it an 8-point game at that point?
No, it was a 9-point game. It
Nine
would have
point game.
been, yeah, it would have been 7 if he made it, and then the blocked extra point basically swung it to 9.
And this is where our offense kind of stunk. They get the ball back going into the fourth. They have 12 minutes that they need to eat up some clock. And what does the offense do? 3 and out. Just couldn't get momentum. Corum got stopped at the yard. The gain, incomplete pass by Stafford, and then a short pass to Cup, which they were all ready for that one. So after that, the Patriots get a field goal. Rams, this is where our controversial, the punt, only because the Rams really did drive the ball down. They did a really nice job. Cup got an 18-yard reception. Um, they go for 2, they go for 5. There was a shotgun. We got a Puka Nacua for 6 yards. We were able to get the first down off that first initial part of the drive. Patriots had to utilize their timeouts, so it was a perfect way to come down. and then things just started coming off. We had the short right to Cooper Cup for 4 yards, and then the incomplete pass to Puka Nakua, which forced us to have to punt on the New England 35. Which again, most kickers we probably would have been able to kick that field goal. So we gave the Patriots 2 minutes and 22 seconds to march down the field. Um, but thankfully, our defense stood and we were able to get the interception by Cam Kitchens.
Yep.
Ties the game. So the Rams don't make it easy for fans to watch them play. We thought we sat pretty on a 15-point lead, and then things became a little bit too close for comfort.
Yeah, you can tell with this team, it's so close with being a great team, but they have some execution issues, not as much this week, but some on third down. They were still pretty bad on third down. Most of the time we were getting first on like first and second and big chunk plays. Got to work on that. And really the
From a
defense,
defensive side, yeah.
yeah, defense just consistently shooting itself in the foot on third and long. Just
Yeah, I
I love
mean,
verse, but that pulling the man from pile, like, what are you doing
you
there?
it's a rookie mistake. You got to know the rules of the NFL. This is something I think can be cleaned up. But that one led to the touchdown or the field
Yeah,
goal, one of the two. But like it
lead points.
it hurt the team. It gave them points which when the Rams were actually dominating. Um,
Yeah.
and then Byron Young, he had a bad penalty that continued that drive as well. Just a lot of mishaps. So the defense, there's some things that they need to clean up. I think they will clean those up. Um, Special teams, obviously, we got to Cardi needs to figure out what's going on with him. But if you look at the passing game, Matthew Stafford, 18 for 27, 295 yards, averaging 10.9 per completion, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, no sacks. This is the first game since week 3 that the Rams did not have an offensive turnover. So just amazing. I mean, you look at it, Puka Nakua, 7 receptions, 123 yards. He was averaging 17.6. He had a touchdown. Cooper Cup, 6 receptions for 106 yards, 17.7 averaging, and then 2 touchdowns. Tutu Atwell, he got involved, only 1 reception, but for 21 yards. Colby Parkinson got his 19-yard reception for a touchdown. These were big chunk plays that they were throwing. Like the lowest average for a receiver was 7 yards. So that's pretty good for the receiving core. And then you have the rushing, 15 carries for 86 yards for Kyron Williams. And then Blake Corum also had 5 carries for 21 yards. I guess I didn't realize that Stafford carried the ball for 4 times. I guess I don't really know how that worked. Maybe that's a mistype on this.
No, he carried it only once and he nailed it down 3 times.
Oh, that's right. I guess, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
A good job by the offense, good job passing, and I felt like this team is alive when it runs through Puka and Cup. That's as simple as
Yeah, I
that.
mean,
Stafford is slinging.
Puka is very dangerous, and so that makes Cup even more dangerous because you have the spry Puka Nakua who's able to do a lot more things that I think Cooper Cup used to do. But when you take away, you have to double team Puka and you have to focus more on him. You leave Cup, who is just so smart in the way he does things and the way he thinks and the way he plays the game that he doesn't have to be that young full athleticism that he once was. He could be that smart, methodical, this is how I'm going to get by this person and be able to do it. And we saw that perfectly with that 69-yard catch and run for the touchdown.
Yeah,
Uh,
him on choice routes, it basically makes some of our routes on some of our plays like a living play because Cup knows based on what the defender's gonna do, like how he's gonna react, and Stafford knows the different situations of how Cup is gonna react. So
mhm.
that's when you can see kind of that beautiful chemistry with those two working off of each other. And we need to see it more consistently this year. I feel like it is not hit yet, kind of hit the level it did in 21, but hopefully they can keep on growing and this line can get better and everyone can get more on the same page.
Yeah, 100%. I think the defense will clean up their mistakes. They had a good showing, with those penalties. If they can fix those penalties up, this defense is going to be way better. They got 3 sacks, two by Fisk, one by Young. So just a great showing. And then obviously we talked about Cam Kitchens with the reception or the interception. So
Well,
great,
shout out to
great stuff.
Lake. Lake was all over the place. He was playing great. He had 11 tackles, just consistently breaking up plays in the backfield. Really impressive night by Lake.
Yeah. Yeah. The one thing I think is kind of crazy. So, like, did Puka Nakua throw up on the field? And if so, did someone have to clean that up? Like, is that a thing? Like, I've kind of interesting. Kind of interesting.
I wouldn't want
Um,
that job.
yeah. No, wouldn't want that one. Wouldn't want that one. All right, so that kind of wrapped up this game. It was a great game, great win. That puts us back at 500 once again. Um, but we do come up with a pretty stout next team against the Eagles. Um, you know, the Eagles are going to be a tough team. It's going to be Sunday Night Football, which I feel like the Rams just have not been playing their best when it comes to. I mean, obviously the Vikings on Thursday night they played pretty well on against Miami. They did not do so well on. Um, so it's going to be interesting to see how this game plays out. You have any initial thoughts on the Eagles?
Eagles, they're one of those teams, their roster is really good. I feel like their coaching can be hit or miss, more times a miss, especially against better teams. Nick Sirianni kind of does weird things. So it's a great roster. It's stacked top top to bottom. Saquon is going to give us fits. He is amazing running back. We're going to have to bring the offense. This team is going to have to be more like the Vikings team, and this team uh it's going to have to channel those offensive game plans, and we're going to it's if we're going to win, it's going to be in a shootout. So just got to expect that, and I hope this team prepares and comes out guns blazing, because if we start off slow in the first quarter against the Eagles, I I don't think we can beat them. Them and the Bills are going to be the hardest games left for us.
Yeah, and again, we really can only afford to lose 2 games, and we need to try to keep this to a minimum. I hope that the Rams can come out and win this. Um, it's an 8-2 team. It's gonna be tough. The 2 losses though were to the Falcons and the Buccaneers. Um, so you know, like I said, I think anything was possible. Even the game against the Jaguars was way too close for comfort. I think even for them, only winning by what 5. Um, so it's one of those things where like it could be anyone's game. Um, they are very talented, obviously with Saquon Barkley. And not just him. I mean, realistically, Jalen Hurts is also that running threat. So you have 2 dual running threats, which again I think becomes a problem for the Rams. They don't deal well with mobile quarterbacks, and so
They did
it's
a
gonna
good
be
job
interesting.
with May. May has been running a lot,
But
and
he didn't run that much today.
because they're holding
I'm
contain. They did great at holding contain. May was looking for running lanes.
sure, but you look at some of the other games that they've played this year. Cardinals comes obviously first to mind. Um,
Well,
they
definitely
haven't.
early in the year, but in the last 2 or 3 weeks, they have been a lot better at holding contain. Now, like, Geno Smith is Geno Smith, but
That's what I'm saying. Like
Tua
they're up against Tua, which I think he had to be more cautious.
yeah,
Geno Smith, Sam Darnold, um, Minshew, like these are people who like are not going to be the runners. I mean, you're looking more at the Jordan Loves. Obviously, Brock Purdy can run some, and Murray. So this is going to be. I mean, I feel like it's been a while since the Rams have really been tested in the run game, the mobile quarterback situation. So we'll have to see how this goes. But Sunday Night Football, prime time in LA. Um, it's going to be one. I hope all fans who can go and show up, support the team. They're trying to make this through. Um, if you have tickets, keep your tickets and go to the game. I mean, it is different when your fans are there to support you, and you don't want the Eagles fans who travel really well. You don't want them to
mhm,
dominate SoFi Stadium.
yep.
So that is that. Though I will say Jalen Hurts is on my fantasy team, so yikes. He's been giving me points. The tush push, brotherly shove. Which Stafford today had a really nice QB sneak. I mean, he got 3 yards on that one, or 3 or 4 yards on that one. So it was pretty good. Pretty good.
The fourth carry.
Yep. Let's just not give them that opportunity. We'll keep them out of the red zone. We'll make them punt the ball every time, and let's not have to worry about this.
Yeah. Hey,
Sound
it'd be a
good?
great game for us to have 2 or 3 defensive turnovers. Great,
Yeah. Anything's possible, right?
hopefully.
All right. Well, big shout out to everyone who joined us for our live
Mhm,
stream. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Thank you to all those who watch us, even not live. You can find us at youtube.com/ at East Coast Rams. You can find us on any of your podcasting apps by just searching for East Coast Rams. We are on all the social medias, including X at East Coast Rams. We are now on Blue Sky as well. So you can find us there at East Coast Rams. All of our social medias are down in our comments. You can find them everywhere else: Instagram and Threads at East Coast Rams Pod. I think I hit all the social media plugs.
mhm.
Really appreciate you all. Please leave a comment, DM us, whatever you want. Give us feedback on the pod. How can we make this better for you all? Really looking forward to it. Hopefully, we'll get some more guests on the pod soon. So again, just really appreciate everyone who takes the time to support us and interacts with us on all the socials. Ashton, anything else before we wrap it up?
No, I'm looking forward to next week's game. Appreciate all of you guys. And, let's keep this train running and hopefully we can have a late season resurgence once again.
Yes, this would be such a great like going into Thanksgiving, on an up and up. Um,
Mm.
so all right. Well, that's gonna wrap it up for this episode of the East Coast Rams podcast. We will see you all next time.